as you say, we can move in the midst of our imperfection. And we move, and of course, we're aware of the problems, and we don't want that to repeat. Of course, we notice we repeat the same behavior, but we don't punish ourselves. We just move to the improvement and keep striving to get to the place we want to get.
All right, Dad. Welcome to another episode. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. It's been raining a lot today.
It has been. It's June, too.
Yeah, and it's been 57 degrees in June. This is interesting.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Well, happy Father's Day early Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to the audience. Any fathers out there, any father figures, grandparents, or I guess grandpas.
And to yourself, too.
And to myself, yes.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, today's going to be a special Father's Day episode. And, with that in mind, the topic for today is lessons that we learned from our fathers. So, Dad, I want to ask you, what is a lesson or two that you don't mind sharing that you learned from your father?
Well, there's one thing that my father used to do, and it was the fact that he was cheerful around people. So, and it's not that there was a duplicity, but he was always trying to, be friend, and I can say that he got in a way, he had a grateful heart and a playful heart, and that was something that I observed. Okay, of course he got his challenges and his problems, and maybe at home he wasn't as grateful and cheerful, but regardless, he will give everybody a good time, and that's a lesson for me. So that means that you can actually feel good, okay, as you interact with other people. So he trying to give something, through the interaction by, saying something funny or engaging in a funny way with people. So I think I grasped some of that. It was a good lesson for me. The other thing, it was he trying to educate himself a lot. So he communicate through, in different areas of knowledge. So we interact by talking about different topics. So that was something that I always embrace because he's been helping me too.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up always educating yourself, or I guess himself. But I recall growing up, you, even before you were doing what you're currently doing, you would take, for example, Laurie, my older sister, Laurie, you would take her like biology textbook. I recall you growing up you always seem to be trying to learn. And so that is definitely something that it's interesting that you point that out because I can see that influence in you.
Yeah, it was different topics, physics, chemistry. He didn't know a lot about chemistry, but nevertheless, he had the interest into all this topic, politics, religion, biology, and even though he wasn't really pretty much very knowledgeable, but the interest was there. So that kind of put a seed to me, so I could figure there's things out there that I could grasp and learn. So never stop from learning. So that was a good thing that I got from him.
Something I want to share about a lesson that I learned from you is, I guess the best way to put it is to not judge yourself. Growing up, I made plenty of mistakes. And I mean, all of us have. But there were plenty of times where either you found out about something and took me aside, or I came to you and talked to you about something. And I don't recall in those moments ever feeling like you were criticizing me. Which, I mean, as you know, I for a while, I was very hard on myself. But I think having that example of just not not criticizing yourself, and you not criticizing me, I think helped in my, I guess, to eventually learn not to judge myself. And also it's helped a lot with raising my own kids, where that is something that I, again, just picked up from you, that I don't think you were necessarily trying to actively teach, or wasn't like, you never lectured me on that growing up, but it was something that I observed, and it's something that I tried to do with my own girls.
And now that you bring that up, and what we learn from parents, it's interesting because, I observe some of the traits and skills and abilities of my father, which it made me feel good, connected, made me feel proud, made me feel protected too, because, the things that you learn through or they're passed through from parents to children, it helps to produce protection because, whatever it is, it helps you in your life. So to me, in a way, not that I consciously thought, okay, the knowledge will help me and protect me in the future, but it does, because if we learn, that means that we cannot be naive and be just taken a sweep by the wind of, philosophies and beliefs, or extremes of conspiracies. So it helps. It's a way of protection. So we learn from parents a lot of things. Also, we learn what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I have my set of mistakes, and you are aware. So, you choose. I'm gonna do the things good for me in the future, but these are the things that I see from my father. I'm gonna do the opposite. Okay, it's not like we intended we want to really be having a position towards parents. No, it is just that there are things that will help us. Mm-hmm. These are the things that we experience because our parents are also learning. No, I mean, it's not like they're set in stone with all this knowledge. There's not such thing. No, they're very naive too. We're very ignorant in different ways. So, but kids can observe, and then you say, okay, what I'm observing, which is not for the best interest, because I have felt the impact in my life, emotionally or in another way, this I'm not gonna do. So, in my case, since you brought that up, no, our parents, my parents and my grandparents, they didn't know, a few things. Like they use what is always been used for teaching, which is, in those days, it was fears was used, shame, no. It was used also controlling, punishment. Okay, it was used, as a way to educate kids. And of course, that was what they knew, It wasn't really a purpose of hurting. It was, in many cases, it was just a tradition. It was something that you seen it done. And then when you see that, it gives you an opportunity to say, okay, this thing, is something I'm learning not to do. So you choose, you're not going to do that. So since you brought that up, okay, the things that I did is when you made mistakes, because I was on the other side in my own childhood and my teenage years, where I was punished, in many occasions being shamed or control. Okay, so, or fear was used. No, hey, if you keep doing this in the future, you're going to be this, this, and this. So, and it didn't help, and I could feel that never really helped. So, on my own, I figure, like we all do, okay, this is something I'm not going to do. Because I found that mistakes are be done through life. So I found that whatever happened as a child or as a teenager, mistake I make, this is just part of life. This is the training part through the choices we make through our agencies when a set of choices are presented. No, so, and many times I make a mistake. No, I choose something that it won't bring something good for my benefit. And when my parents found out, okay, instead of teaching me, I mean, they were, in some cases, shaming me. I mean, they did not do intention. They just want the best for me. But was through this cultural way of trying to educate. So I saw the impact of that, and it just didn't help. Okay, and then I thought, okay, I gotta do this differently. And you know, that is embedded into our mind. So when I became a father, and I noticed the mistakes of my kids, you know, I thought, no, my job is to not even educating. It's just being with them. When the mistakes is there are emotions, so I have to be empathetic. This is me. You know, now it's a reflection of me as a kid. No. And what I need then, it was a empathetic, compassionate, you know, person that can actually sit with me, love me and care for me. And when I was ready, teach me. Or if that was the moment that was needed, the education, you know, I need to be done. Okay? But it had to be done, but, you know, with compassion, with assertiveness. I mean, not like, hey, anything goes, don't worry. No, not like that, no. But it's in a way that you trying to help the child to feel, you know, the consequences of those choices without shaming them. And then explain, no? Whatever feelings of guilt are because of your choices, I mean, this is the natural way how the body responds. And then you teach them, this is guilt, you know, and if they're little or they are a little bit more older, you still have to really co-regulate that and say, okay, it feels bad, no? You don't feel good about this. Okay, I'm with you, I understand. No, it is a process of teaching. So you don't have to really see it at the moment when it's crucial and now these things are going on in the mind of the child, or, you know, at the moment when he's trying to figure out, okay, the awful feeling of a choice that is not for the benefit. So it's not the moment to educate and say, hey, sit down here. I mean, you are this, this, and this. I mean, look, this is what happened at the moment. So we had to go through steps where the child had to feel that I understand without even saying anything, okay? And then we move towards the solution, no? So the solution is, okay, you know, son, okay, what would you like to see out of this? And then we move with the child to tell them. And if it's needed to put a boundary, then we set a boundary, okay? Which is not a punishment, no. A boundary is just a way how we tell, okay, look, this happened to you, okay, you need to understand that this is going to hurt other people, so here's the boundary, no? Whatever they might be. No? And then going through the process, you know, we really plant the seed, you know, knowledge, you know, there's a connection that's bigger than anything, okay? I mean, it's like in our association as father and you as a son, you know, I saw a lot of mistakes, but you know, I wasn't going to judge about that. I just need to be sure that that I feel what you feel. Okay? And then we went through the process. Sometimes the process takes longer time. You know, we don't have to fix everything one day, you know, because the tools have to be yours, you know, and it has to be internalized. Okay? It cannot be a quick fix, no. Or it cannot be just, hey, nothing happens, you know, everything's okay. You're going to be just a wonderful guy right now at this moment since you comprehend this process. No, it is something that we have to individually work with. And with every child, it has to be done that way. No. And who knows, maybe the process in some of our kids might be just a week, a day, 20 years, who knows. But we need to continue loving, okay? Continue being connected. So that's probably the best gift we can give to a child.
You know, something you said at the beginning of what you were saying is how, you know, no parent is perfect, which that's actually something I was thinking about right before we started. Observing you and others as well, not just you, I have come to realize that you're not perfect. Which,
yeah. Finally, you got it.
I mean, I've realized that for a little while now. But what I bring that up especially in this topic of lessons learned from our fathers, because realizing that you're not perfect, realizing that other people aren't perfect, was actually incredibly freeing for me, because it made me realize, oh, I don't have to be perfect to do things. I don't have to be perfect to be able to teach my kids. I don't have to be perfect in order to, pursue an aspiration or to try to be a good person. You don't have to be perfect to be in this life. I mean, no one's perfect.
Yeah, you're right. We don't have to wait until everything is comprehended, understood, until our habits doing the thing right have to come into our life. No, as you say, we can move in the midst of our imperfection. Okay, and we move, and of course we're aware of the problems, and we don't want that to repeat. Of course, we notice we repeat the same behavior, and of course, but we don't punish ourselves. We just move to the improvement, focus on the things that we have improved, and keep striving to get to the place we want to get. And it takes time. Sometimes some things we learn quite quick. Like you have some things that you probably are doing better than I was doing when I was your age, because you learn quick. Okay? But there's some other things that you're still in the process, and that's fine. We are in the same place. And I don't know where this came from, where as a society we just been indoctrinated about the fact that, everybody else is doing okay. And why am I repeating the same mistakes? We look at our neighbor and we say, oh my goodness, I wish I'm like this person, and now repeating. That's a false, information. No? Mm-hmm. The freedom that comes with knowing that we are all learning and growing. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be any person, even if they have skills associated with any particular area of life, they still we're like a child. We don't comprehend. We just probably don't have even 1% of what really, is taking place in this world. We have no idea. But we are moving towards learning. And through generations we change. I don't do the same things that my parents did then. And my parents didn't do the same thing that their parents did. They improve it. They move a little forward. And they give me a gift, okay? A gift that I received. There were still imperfections that, of course, they didn't know how to deal with, but then now I take the gift, like whatever it is, whatever I learned from them, take the gift, embrace it. It's part of my life. And then the other stuff that they struggle and strive to improve, but they couldn't do it, we say, okay, those things are still lesson, because this is the things I'm supposed to do. And then I move into the next generation, working to improve it. And for a young person, it is very easy to do it when we're aware. For a young person, say, okay, these things I observe, it won't be of a benefit for the people I love, I'm going to change it. Okay. The older people strive, and of course they improve. But there are some things that it's hard to improve on everything that through generations and centuries has been passed from father to child. Okay? But now you take on the post, do it better for the kids, and of course they will do better than you.
Yeah, I mean, I really look at my kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are already going to be so much better than I was. So just to, I guess, wrap up, because this is a shorter episode today, but what is one thing you would want your father to know?
Okay, one thing, and I'm talking like if I'm talking to him, because in a way I feel that he's listening to this. I want him to know that I really been proud of him, that in the midst of challenges and other things that I have to experience and noticing as a young and adult man, I mean, he is unbelievable. I mean, you're unbelievable. You passed to the other life now. You're not here, but you're listening. I want to know that I do love you. No, And I want to do better because that's what you want when you were a kid. That's what you want when you were a young man. And we're doing this together, thanks to the things you tell me that I'm embracing. And I'm going to pass it on and, sharpen it a little better for the other one that come after us.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, I guess I had the benefit of having my father right in front of me. So I guess one thing I would want you to know is, although I really hope that you have another 60 years of life, I would love to have you around for another 60, 65 years, or however long. Even if you were to, pass away tomorrow, I guess I would want you to know that I really feel like I'm going to be okay. I think that, again, I want another 60 years with you to keep learning, but I feel like you have taught me enough that I'll be okay.
That makes me very proud and happy. I know you're going to be okay. You're amazing.
Love you, Dad.
Love you too. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's our Father's Day episode, so let's wrap it up.
Hey, happy Father's Day for everybody.
Happy Father's Day.
And trying to remember some of the things that you learned from your parents. There's always some good things there. Just search a little deeper if it's hard to say that.